Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Marketing Water Cooler podcast. My name is Jeremy Francesi. Thanks for swinging by, hanging out with us for a little bit. Steph, what are we getting into?
Let's talk about the difference between demand generation and lead generation.
Lead generation versus demand. We've been talking about this internally as well, right? So look, lead gen is so hot right now. I feel like there's a gazillion companies that do lead gen. There's also a gazillion companies that do marketing consulting, right? But we want to use this episode to give you a little bit of context on what they are, because they're both very necessary, but they're both very different. And so let's start with lead gen. I think a lot of companies, when they hire marketing, they're actually thinking sales. We need a marketing company to create sales. Therefore, we need leads, whether it's a service-based business, e-commerce, and you need opportunity coming in, or you're a product company, right? And you're a SaaS product, we need leads to the website to enter into your automation process, whatever. Lead generation, if you want to frame it this way, is kind of like the front porch of sales. It is, in many cases, disregarding the fact that buyers are at various stages in their journey, from awareness of a problem to awareness of you as a provider, consideration of solving the problem versus consideration of you as an option or the market of solutions. So you're looking at them saying, who can we get to meet with us, to talk to us, engage with us, to potentially buy from us? That's lead generation. You're trying to put meetings on the calendar or put qualified buyers into your pipeline. Very different behavior. Okay. And we're going to go a level deeper after I define both of them. Demand generation is getting ahead of the need to provide educational value where they may or may not be interested in buying a solution. Most times they're not. Most times they're able to make progress without intervention from a provider. Think about it. And I think Josh Braun talked about it really nicely. If you don't follow Josh Braun, really, really awesome content. He does sales training. I really love his stuff, from his email teardowns to his videos, really, really good stuff. But he talks about it as like progress, right? So it's like, it's like the gas grill problem, right? It's like if you have 4 burners, one of them goes out, you're not going to go buy a new grill because you can still cook and make progress with the 3 you have. Most buyers are like that. They're like, can I make progress? They put it off, like that little reminder on your computer of, do you need me to update you? And you're like, remind me later, right? Most buyers are the same way. They hit remind me later every day until they can't click it anymore. And they say, we're going to restart that part of your business if you don't fix it. So demand generation is stepping beyond the transactional nature of a lead and moving all the way ahead of that and saying, look, you may have one burner out and you can make progress. Let's get out of obscurity. Let's give value. Let's educate. Let's give that buyer understanding of the market, what's happening and why it's happening, what that means for people like them, and not just them, but other people like them in that role. What happens is a lead generation conversation, and I put up a LinkedIn post about this recently. A lead gen conversation is, hey, CFO, CEO, for people that are in your role, in your industry, in your type of a company, we're uniquely valuable. And I want to have an opportunity to share with you to see if we can come together and impact your business in a positive, quantifiable way. It's very, get it, right? Demand generation is where you take a step back and you go so far up the line of need where you are with them along their journey of awareness of a problem, awareness of the market, awareness of a solution provider, into consideration of entering that market as a qualified buyer, considering you as a potential option, considering moving forward on solving the problem. You get ahead of all of that. You align with the customer journey, whether paid media or organic, whether it's a blog, a podcast, a LinkedIn organic post, any viable option can play, or maybe you're in a Slack channel just getting involved, but you're getting ahead of it. So instead of it being, hey, CFO, CEO, for somebody like you, we're uniquely valuable. Can you share 20 minutes on your schedule so I can talk to you about how we can add value to your business and solve that problem that so many people like you are having? They flip the script and they come to you and say, hey, company provider, I'm a CFO at a company, and we've been having this problem for a few months. And for a long time, I really wasn't ready to solve it, but I've been following your content. I've been learning enough. I feel like I have a good understanding of what's out there and how to approach it. And I'd like to talk to you to learn more about what it would look like if we work together, because I do believe I know what needs to get done, but I need help implementing or executing on it. And I'm looking at you and these other 2 companies to go attack that. And you'll notice that it's a shift from, now they're asking you for pricing. Now they're asking you for details. They're asking you to tell you what it would look like to work together, because they're informed, aware, and in control, not coming to you as a victim in a sales process just to get right hooked with a sales pitch. And so it's a fundamental difference. You need lead generation. You also, the winners, the real market winners are doing demand generation. They're going and capturing a movement of qualified buyers who are not yet in pipeline as an in-market buyer. And they're giving so much value that when they're actually looking to make a decision, they're looking them up by name, not by category, not automation software. They're going Airtable, right? That's simple. And so I'll give you a quick example from one of ours, right? From WIT, I think is a helpful little adage, because I think it's super perfect. For a couple months. And Whitney, what's up? I hope you don't mind me sharing the goods. One of the folks, Whitney on our team, she's our content coordinator. She makes sure everything goes out on time. So shout out to her for keeping us organized. And it was one of those things where, for a few months now, she was like, do I need a new laptop? What's the situation? And it's a perfect example. And then recently got to the point where it's like, I need a new laptop, right? Now it's a problem. And so the best way to explain it is, lead generation is saying, hey, if you come into the Apple store today, you get this discount, this promotion, this opportunity. Or, hey, if you come to this location in particular, here's the benefit to you. If you buy before this deadline, here's the advantage to you. That's lead gen. And today that may work with Whitney because she actually really needs to solve the problem. But you know what 3 months ago Whitney would have said? Remind me later. So if that person stepped ahead of it from lead generation and said, hey, before you buy a new laptop, here are a couple brands to consider based on the new release from Apple, the new release from Microsoft, the new release from these other providers, benefits, or maybe it says, hey, if you're in these 5 professions, these laptops are the best fit for you based on what you're going to be using. That's demand generation. That's getting to Whitney in April 4th on the afternoon when she's sitting there being like, man, I think that just crashed. I've never seen that before. Oh, well, I'm in this industry. Maybe this can work. Then you send the lead conversion, the lead generation today. And you know why she moves forward? Not because your promo was so cool, because she's been with you the whole time.
Right.
And now it just made it easier to say, you're right, it is time. You got to understand the difference, because for companies hiring content marketing agencies or however you structure the relationship, you need to understand if they're going to give you a lead generation infrastructure or they're going to do demand generation. And not a lot of people call it demand generation because they say we're in lead gen and then they give some reason as to why the leads aren't flowing, right? But it's really, really important distinction, because demand gen can work in a couple month timeline, but that requires tact. It requires effectiveness. It requires excellence. It's like a podcast. Everybody can start one, but you also have to be good at it. Right? You have to know how to execute. You got to know how to host a show, create value, share that value in a way that's aligned. And so you have to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Steph, anything you want to unpack or drill into from the lead gen, demand gen, anything from that side of the aisle?
For me, I think the demand gen makes a lot of sense. And just because I know personally, if there is a company that I'm like interested in their product, if they already have research out and information that I can look at and sort of reasons how they know, the world that they are working in so deeply, that's going to make me trust them so much more, because I know they're perhaps equally invested in the community as I am, and I think that sort of connection is really important.
100%. I put up a LinkedIn post about this last week, I think it was. I was listening to a Kanye remix on YouTube. It was a jam. Okay. Having the time of my life, 3.5 minutes of just pure joy. Okay. Look, a YouTube ad came up and it was a good ad. It really was. Like, they had the right components that not only like captured the attention, retained the attention, knew their audience. It was targeted well. So I was like, I knew the market. I knew the industry. I wasn't a buyer yet, but I know I will be in the next 18 months for this agency. The way they handle data analysis, whatever you want to talk about it, to create efficiencies, to create intelligence for the web, it was great. Mm-hmm. So I clicked through and I go to the website. There's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. It takes you to a contact form. I said, great. I don't need a demo right now. I don't need a sales call, let alone a price. I'm not looking to buy something, but I'm genuinely interested and curious because I know it's something I'm going to need. They even have a pricing page. There's no pricing on it. It just takes you to a lead form. There's no information. The blog is them talking about how cool they are, and it's no value to anybody. And there's no case studies. There's no thought leadership. There's no information that literally does anything except pound their chest or ask you to have a sales call. So it puts me as a user in a position to literally go to the conversation of, do I leave the website entirely, getting nothing of value but a wasted 5 minutes of my day? Or do I submit my information to be harassed via email or to set up a sales call? What do you think I did? I walked away. I walked away because I was like, this is such a waste of my time. Here's the challenge. That company should and will retarget the heck out of me. Social, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. I'm going to see them everywhere. Banner ads, sure, right? Everywhere, because all those banner ads are super dope, right? So I'm going to get retargeted from a company that added no value. And all I know from them is they want me to join a sales call. So what do you think is going to happen when they retarget me? I know about the market.
Tell you to join a sales call.
Bingo. All they're going to do is say, come let us sell you a product. They're not. And so guess what's going to happen when you spend all that money on your lookalike audiences and you're retargeting? It's going to be a waste of money. Now, look, at macro, they're probably making money from running ads. But when it comes to, marketing is not a question of, is it good or not? It's a question of, are you so happy with what you have that you wouldn't consider better?
Right.
That's the conversation that needs to be had. Okay. There's so many qualified buyers for that specific market I'm referencing that you throw a rock, somebody will pay you a little money for it to test it out. Mm-hmm. Right. The market's growing. There's a number of competitors. I know that when they retarget me, I'm just going to scroll through and be like, I know if I go to your website, there's nothing for me but a sales pitch. So here's how you switch that. Build into the website a case study or white paper, something that allows me to understand what it is you offer, why it is valuable, not because you're pounding your chest about a feature update, which is a valuable thing to update the community on. Some people are waiting to know if a feature is released to make it worth it. I'm not saying don't do that, but I am saying you got to add additional value. Teach me something, inform me on something. That way, when you retarget me, I know as a conscious buyer who is not in market yet, that if I go to your website, I engage with your email, I consider your engagement, I'm going to get something that's worth my time. Because right now what you're telling me is it's only worth your time.
Right.
We got to switch it. And that's the fundamental difference of lead gen and demand gen. That's it. I get that you want to sell something, but 95% of companies are out of business in 5 years. So my question is, do you want us to buy from you for a month and hook me into a funnel where I don't know what I'm buying except for a 30-minute engagement, a couple demos, a Q&A, and a contract signing? Or do you want to build a customer for life? And I think lifetime value and customer acquisition cost, they will go down. Lifetime value goes up, your customer acquisition goes down, because next time I know what I need in that market when they've added value, you're not going to have to run an ad against me. I'm going to just look your name up by name on Google, go directly to your website and say, let me set up a call. I'm ready to buy something.
Right. And you'll probably tell your friends about it too and be like, oh, I learned so many things from this that you should try it out too.
And then all of those communities from Teams, Slack, LinkedIn, Facebook, Discord, all of those communities, in thousands of them being agency owners, revenue owners, people that are functionally in charge of brand, reputation, PR, incoming opportunities, outbound leads, that come in and say, how did you solve this problem? Guess what I'm not sharing now? Anything about you. But if you flip the script, the next time that question comes up, say, hey, John, 6 months ago, I was in a similar state of mind. Doesn't sound like you're ready to buy something. This video blog clip piece was super helpful in framing my thoughts. Take a look at it. It was a pretty good read for me after hours. That's what's happening in today's marketplace. So consider and ask yourself and your team and your partners, are you in lead gen or are you in demand gen? Both are valuable. Cash is oxygen in a business. You can't live without it, but you got to understand what you're actually doing to make sure that what you're counting and measuring, your KPIs, track to the actual behavior. It's that simple. And so that's what we got. Steph, anything you want to add or ask before we close this thing out?
I think just one little thing, like right now we're at a point where there are so many different types of everything. You want, X, you're going to have 16 different types of X. So what is it about your company that makes you unique, that makes people should actually come and work with you? And if one of those 100%. Is you care about the community and you have the infrastructure to educate and build knowledge and be a place where people can come to congregate somehow, then I think that'll probably be good in your favor.
100%. I did a video with Ian Lenhart, episode 40 of I think it was 40 of First Floor Conversations, and we talked a lot about like why podcasting is so interesting. And it wasn't about the ego stroke of hosting a show and sharing content and the vanity side of content creation. It was the way we framed it was like creating a great show, creating great content is like a bonfire. It's not about how many people show up, but it's about if the conversation's worth having, people will show up. And if people like the conversation, they'll invite friends. And if they invite friends that share in that, then the community grows because people genuinely want to sit there like a bonfire. They're not really worried about the time of day. They're just enjoying the conversation. And so I think it's critical to understand, like, what is the bonfire of your target audience? What brings people together? What are they talking about? Whether it's the escapism or the pragmatic approach to solving business problems, what's happening? Then build that. Because if you can do that, then you're not converting a customer, you're converting a community. And that's a whole different conversation. And so with that in mind, we love y'all for sticking around, and we'll be back for more very soon. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you liked the video, smash the like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the new episodes. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We will fold them into future episodes and make sure that you get the help and the answers you're really looking for all things marketing and communications.